My people, welcome back to another great episode of your favorite You and I talk show with Louise UWACU. Tonight, we have a great star, a great movie to bring to you. I'm in black. The movie is called Blackway. Stay tuned. Thank you for being here, Aaron Pearl.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy to see you in person. You're so great looking in person. I've seen you in movies like X-Men and Men of Steel. You're always that, that guy.
Well, thank you. Glad to hear that I'm good looking in person.
Yeah, because sometimes you never know, right?
You never do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's nice to meet you. Yeah.
I'm very happy. You're originally from BC, right?
I am. I am originally from BC, born and raised.
How is it growing up in BC? Did you always want to be a great actor when you were growing up?
Yes, I always wanted to be a great actor, and I started off just being an actor. I thought maybe everybody wanted to be an actor when I was a kid. The first film I ever saw was Superman, the original with Christopher Reeve. And when I saw that, I loved it, but I didn't really know that you could become an actor, right? And so it was years later, and I eventually just kind of stumbled into it and loved it right away.
Wow. So how is it to grow up, you watch Superman, and eventually you actually grow up and you are in a Superman movie?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. How was that? How did that go? How were you selected, and how did you react when you got the news?
Well, I was really excited when I got the news. At first, I didn't know that I was going to meet the director. It was Zack Snyder who directed that, and at first I didn't know that it was him I was going to meet. I got a phone call saying, "Would you want to go in and meet about a movie?" And it had a generic name so that people didn't know we would be filming Man of Steel. And I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of that film, so I'm not really interested in going in for the meeting." And then my agent was like, "It's actually Man of Steel." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'd love to go in and meet them." So I went in and auditioned and met the director and got a role.
Wow, that is so great. Yeah. And so now this new movie that I've dressed up for.
Yeah, thank you very much, by the way. You're in theme. Well done.
I am. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And then on top of that, it has such an amazing cast.
It does. Yeah.
So tell me the process of getting on this movie.
This movie, again, I met with the director. His name is Daniel Alfredson, and in Canada, we have a famous hockey player by that name, and so it's not him.
Yeah.
It's a Swedish director, and he directed the Swedish version of The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Some excellent movies, thrillers. Maybe they were about 10 years ago or something. So anyway, I knew the name and knew his work, and then and wanted to meet with him about the show. And then I found out that Anthony Hopkins was doing it, and Julia Stiles and Liotta, and then I was even more excited when I found out I would also be doing it with them. So it was good.
It's always so fascinating to see a movie with such great cast. I mean, what is the pressure when you hear so many great names associated? You're a great name yourself, but
Thanks.
Is there any pressure on you?
Not so much. I don't interpret it as pressure because I really enjoy it. So coming out of like a sports background and things like that, like when I was a kid and stuff, it's more like it's game day. It's that kind of a feeling, right? So it's not necessarily nerves. It's more like I'm really excited about doing a scene with people like that, or working with people like that, learning from people like that. There was also a guy in that film. His name is Hal Holbrook, and he's in his 90s and has had an amazing career and is a very good actor. So even just to be with him on set and watch how he did what he did, it was amazing. It was acting class just by being on set with him. It was so good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where was the movie shot? Because it looks, I could have guessed BC, but I don't know. I thought I would ask you.
Yeah, it was shot in BC, and we were up
BC.
near Vernon and around there, in Enderby, and in that neighborhood. And we shot it in sort of November, December, January, I guess. And We needed a remote location. That's part of the story, is that the character played by Julia Stiles is really in danger from the character who is played by Ray Liotta, who's the title character. Ray Liotta plays Blackway. And so she's in danger, and there's no one to help her. Right, and the remote location adds to that. There's nowhere to turn and no way for her to really get out either. So yeah, we shot up there. Yeah.
So you all, the whole cast, you were all there at the same time, or did people just show up for their own scenes?
Well, it's a mixture of both. I mean, some are there for a long period of time, and some are in for a few days, right?
So you're all living together, like it's a camping thing, or?
We all camp together. Yeah, we share tents. No, we're in various different spots, and you move around a little bit, right? But yeah, we're all. Whether we stay in the same hotel or not, that doesn't really matter because we're together all day, every day for long durations of time. So you basically just step off of set to get some sleep and come back. That's kind of how movies are made, yeah.
I see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're just gonna take a short break.
Sure.
And then when we come back, we'll show people a little clip and then we'll keep talking about it.
Sounds good.
All right, my people, stay tuned. You and I talk show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show. All right, my people, we're back and we're still talking to Aaron Pearl. So we're going to show a small clip of the movie so people can get an idea. It's just a clip, but the whole movie, oh my goodness. Let's see the clip.
It's a really good movie, yeah.
It's just a teaser. But, so tell people a little bit about your role.
Okay. As we saw in that clip, what they're saying there is that the character played by Julia Stiles has come looking for me. And the reason why she's looking for me is because it's kind of a story around town that I stood up to Ray Liotta's character, Blackway. And if she can get a hold of me, maybe I will be the one to deal with Blackway for her. Right, and so that's why at the end of that, I'm kind of saying, I've made my peace with Blackway, meaning I don't want to get involved.
Yeah,
right.
Because he's such a dark character.
Yeah, we're talking Ray Liotta at his best, right? He plays that guy really well.
Yeah, he's so amazing.
Yeah,
and so your own preparation, because you're also playing a tough guy. How did you prepare for that? And what kind of things do you have to go through? You know, as an actor, what do you have to go through to get ready for such a role?
Yeah, well, it does depend on the role for sure. And this role, I'm a small town guy, I work in a sawmill, and so those are things that I understand. I grew up in small town British Columbia, and I worked in a sawmill as
you actually did?
Kid. Yeah, I did. So that world and the meeting in the office of the mill to have a beer at the end of a workday and all that kind of stuff, that's very familiar, or I understand that world a little bit. But what this guy doesn't want to do is get involved in a very dangerous situation. So that's where more of the preparation comes in. And you go through the script over and over and beat by beat. And what I enjoy playing in any character is a person who's under pressure, right? That I find interesting. Under pressure to do something, and in this case, it's under pressure to do something that I really don't want to do. So a good guy who really doesn't want to do what is essentially the right thing. Yeah. So,
I see. And then when you're playing opposite in the same movie as such big names, how do you manage the egos on set? Is there any egos, or are these big names nice?
I have, you know what, I've never had a negative experience, not at least one that I can remember, and I've worked with a lot of really interesting and well-established people, and I have found that they're excellent. The ones who are at the top of the game in their career, and I'm talking like an Anthony Hopkins, Julia Stiles, Ray Liotta, people like that, Hal Holbrook, I mean, I've worked with Gwyneth Paltrow and Elijah Wood and on and on and on. They're at the top of the game not only because they can act and they're good at that, but they're also, in my experience anyway, they're good people. And part of being a good actor and being a good person is working well with other people. So I haven't had a problem with.
That's great. So maybe it's because you yourself, you're a great person to work with.
I think that's the key.
Because you've been so patient with us today.
No, yeah.
And then you said something that was interesting, that acting is free, it's the waiting that they pay you for. So a lot of waiting around when you're on set. How do you manage that? Are you doing some sort of breathing techniques and stuff like that?
I breathe constantly, right? In and out all day, whether I'm on set or not. I don't mind life on set, which does involve a lot of waiting. But hopefully you're spending that time being prepared or preparing for the scene, or the scenes. So there's a lot of work to be done there, so that when it is time to go, we're ready. That's not the time for questions. That's not the time for talking anymore. Let's try and get in and shoot the scene. So that downtime where I'm waiting for the lights to be set up and so on and so forth is put to good use by preparing. Yeah.
And have you noticed that, does it improve your performance if you're acting next to great actors? Like, what does that do to your performance? Do you feel the pressure to bring it on?
Again, it's not pressure so much, but I definitely feel that everyone's performance goes up when you're working with really talented people, just like a sport again. And the interesting thing I have found that when you're working with really talented people is that it becomes a lot easier. Right? In a sense, you don't have to try and lift this thing off the ground. You don't have to try and make something happen. You're more allowing it to happen. Right? The more natural that it is and the more relaxed that a scene is, at least in performance, the better the scene is going to be. Right? So, Anthony Hopkins, I mean, he's been so good and so good through so many films, but there was a scene in particular where it's an intense scene. It's pretty much a bar fight, and Anthony Hopkins is not someone who you would expect to see sort of managing a bar fight in a film, and yet he did it with such ease, and he did it. He doesn't get violent. He doesn't do anything. He speaks, and he still manages to control that scene with ease, and it was really something to watch. Yeah.
Wow, this movie is definitely something to watch, my people. We're going to take a short break and we're going to come back and keep talking about it.
Good.
UNI Talk Show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show. All right, my people, we're back. We're still talking to the Pearl. You're like a pearl.
Yeah.
So what about your family life? I've had women asking me to ask you if you're dating or if you're married. They want to know.
They do? Huh, no, I'm much more interesting on screen, I think, than in my personal life. But yeah, I have a wife and 2 kids and
very discreet
and a home life. Yeah.
There's no paparazzi following you and telling us little.
Too fast, too sneaky, right? Plus, there's nothing to report. Right.
Nice. You're living this stable life.
Yeah.
So how old are your children?
I have an 8-year-old and a boy, an 8-year-old boy, and I also have a boy who will be 1-year-old in a few weeks. Yeah.
Do they haven't seen any of your movies? Maybe Superman?
Yeah, Superman, and there's a few movies and television shows that I've done that are specifically for kids, or Christmas specials, or things like that.
They've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is their reaction when they see you on screen? Can they understand it yet, or how do they react?
My 8-year-old understands, for sure, and he gets it a little bit more. When I did Man of Steel, I was overhearing a conversation that he was having with another little friend of his, and they were chatting. Because Man of Steel's been out for a couple of years now, right? So he was younger then. And I was overhearing him, and he was saying, the number is in here somewhere. The number is in here somewhere. And we can call Superman. And so I peeked into his room, and he's got my phone, and he's scrolling through it, right? going to find Superman's number and he's going to phone him, right? So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh, that is so fascinating because all children love Superman, right?
Yeah.
So to have your dad have Superman's number.
Yeah.
Did they ever meet Superman?
He didn't come on set with me. No,
okay.
we kind of filmed it distantly, and he didn't come with me. And we were at superhero movies. I mean, kids love superhero movies, and all you have to do is look at your local theater and just see that. So we went and saw one of the X-Men movies recently in the theater, and while we were there was a young boy there who had seen me in Godzilla.
Oh.
And he wanted an autograph, and my son thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
I know, because you get to look so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've done such amazing movies too, like Godzilla, X-Men 3, and Man of Steel. Those are huge movies. What is your ideal project to work on?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I would love to do the big features and do a superhero role. That would be fantastic. And I'm actually seeing guys my age doing that.
You have the body, you have the everything.
Well, spread the word. Tell your people.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
But TV is also excellent. There's so much good television out there right now, and that can really help out as far as a home life goes. If you can shoot a television show, say here in Vancouver, and you're not gone all the time.
Yeah,
or at least you're more stable. When you're shooting a series, you're busy. There's no doubt about it. But when the series is over, then you can go home.
So your wife, like, how does she handle you being away when you have to be away so much?
Well, she's great about it, for one. I mean, and like I say, we have a 1-year-old son, so she carries the brunt of that, and she's fantastic with it. And when I'm shooting in Vancouver, I can get home, right? So I finished up a movie this week here locally, but I was able to be home for Father's Day before that and things like that. So it's really good. But yeah, we say to each other, obviously come with me when I shoot this film. And it's not that easy when you got a little one that young, right? It's still not easy to pack them up and go somewhere. So
yeah. So what about inspiring like younger actors? If you had to tell them something, like let's say there's a young person out there who wants to do what you're doing, what would you say is the thing that keeps you going?
Well, you have to have a love of the craft, right? You really have to have that. If your goal is money, success, success being like making it as a movie star or something like that, those won't sustain you in the long haul. So you have to love the craft of acting and storytelling, and you have to work that craft, right? Even an audition is working the craft, and when you get to do an audition, that's a good day as an actor, right? So do theater, read plays, do auditions, take classes, all of that stuff, and develop yourself, develop who you are, live a full life, right? Because all of that is going to come into play, right? Those things sustain you.
Do you think, like, the young generation today, do they understand how much work that it actually takes? Or because it's so glamorized and you see people on TV or on the red carpet, that they only see the glamour side of it?
There certainly is an emphasis on the glamour side of things. And that, whether that's social media or press and things like that, it really, there's a lot of focus on red carpet events and big things like that. But I work with a lot of young actors, and when they're on set, they know how busy it is and how tough it is and how disciplined you have to be. And I see a lot of great young actors out there. I just worked with Ireland Baldwin, Alex's daughter, and Kim Basinger's daughter. She's fantastic, and she's a next generation. I was playing her father. I'm at that point in my life, right?
Very young father.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.
All right, my people, we'll take a short break and come back and end this. Thank you for being here, Aaron. When I talk show with Louise UWACU, we love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show. All right, my people, we're back with Aaron Pearl. So when you're in Vancouver and you want to do great in acting, do you absolutely have to go to LA? Do you have to get an agent or a manager who's local or in LA or New York? Like, what would you suggest to people?
I don't think that you have to go to LA. right? You're going to need an agent if you want to be a film actor and you want to go down that road. That's something that you'll have to do. But no, I don't think that you have to transplant down to Los Angeles and try and do your work down there. There's a lot of good work to be done here.
In Vancouver?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. You think Vancouver is kind of the right town for this business? And if you're in this city and you want to do this, this is really like one of the top Canadian cities where it can actually happen?
Yeah, this is one of the top cities in the world, right? And by looking at film production around the world, you're able to see that. There's a reason why we have the amount of productions that we have here. And of course, some of that's going to be the dollar and the fluctuating of those type of things. But there's a reality that the crews and the talent in Vancouver are fantastic, world class. And that's a real reason why productions are done here, and post-production too. This is a fantastic town for making film. We have a really deep talent pool in all areas, and obviously that includes actors.
Yeah.
Right?
And on top of that, people are so nice over here. Like when you're working with people, people
Canadians.
are just Canadians are so nice, right?
Yeah.
All right. So where do you see your movie career going? What is your wish, your dream? Do you still have dreams that you want to accomplish?
Sure. The interesting thing about being an actor and making a career of it, as opposed to doing it for a time or something, is you grow into different roles as you move through your life. So like I was just saying, I am at a point where I play a father more than I used to. Right, and there will come a time where I will play older fathers and then grandfathers and so on and so forth if I'm fortunate enough to continue on in this business like I want to. So, that's sort of a broad spectrum, is to look down at and want to continue. The roles that I'm getting are getting better and better. There's more substance to them. I started in my 20s and had a lot of fun and played the guy with a lot of attitude and angst and all that kind of stuff, and it was great. But that is settling more into roles with a real depth to them, right? And
so have you ever been stereotyped or typecast into one role, do you feel like?
No. I think I've been really fortunate to play a wide range of roles from I've played a lot of bad guys, and I've played a lot of good guys, and I've played a lot of authority types, like a sheriff or a soldier, and that type of a thing that has that kind of intensity. And then I've played really kind guys or musicians, or I played a chef recently. That was the first time I've ever done that, right? It was great.
Yeah. I guess that's what makes you a great actor, because you have been capable of being able to play all those roles. Well,
I've certainly been fortunate, put it that way.
Nice.
It's been good in comedies too. I love those, right? I've had the opportunity to do those.
I can see the sense of humor.
Yeah.
What about looks? Let's end up on looks. How good looking does somebody have to be? And is it just for the good looking people?
No. Thank goodness, right? Because the makeup team here has done an amazing thing. No, it's not about that at all. And we get way too caught up in that, and I understand it, and it's so obvious that there would be the stereotype that you have to be beautiful or something like that in order to be an actor or an actress, and it's not true. Being good looking does not make you a more in-depth actor, nor does being fit make you a more in-depth actor, right? That comes out of knowing your craft and practicing your craft and who you are. And don't forget to look at the screen and see. There are probably one or two George Clooney's in a movie, and a lot of people who are not that movie star status. So there's a lot more work out there for, people like me, everyday people who really want to act. Not everybody has to be a movie star to be a successful actor. Yeah.
But you are a movie star.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Well, Aaron Purr, it's been so great having you here.
Thank
do you have any last words to tell to your audience, our audience? What do you want to throw out, shout out to anybody out there?
I would say support local film, in British Columbia. We appreciate shooting here. I know that sometimes we take up parking spaces in your neighborhood and make loud noises at night and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much. Enjoy the films, go to the theaters, and if you have a desire to act, get out there and do it. Get some training, do it.
Yes, my people, the movie is called Blackway.
Good film.
It is a thriller. It will keep you watching until the last moment.
Edge of your seat.
Yes.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Yeah.
My people, thank you for tuning in.